Young and the Restless 2-week spoilers October 13th to 24th. Sharon's panic and two fresh faces. Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, and Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, are telling Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, about Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, being super upset about the hit piece. He's threatening a lawsuit, but Nick is solely focused on getting to LA to check on Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, and Sharon. Victor Newman, Eric Braden, is pushing back, saying it's a bad time for him to leave. Nick's attitude is that the rest of them can handle Kane. Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley's parents also tell her about Kane's threat to sue. Victor thinks Nick is overreacting about this LA thing, but then he gets a hysterical call from Sharon, and his parents relent on him leaving. Victor even orders the private jet to get Nick to LA as fast as possible because Sharon said that Noah was in a bad car accident. She is flipping out and says it's like Cassie Newman, Cameron Grimes, all over again. Chelsea and Adam joke with Victoria later about the calm before the Kane storm. Adam also says that Nick is on his way to LA when Victoria joins them for dinner, so she's not aware of the wreck situation. Victoria says that Claire Grace Newman, Haley Aaron, is also in Los Angeles. Y&R 2-week spoilers. Chelsea's warning and Kyle's plea. Chelsea warns Victoria about Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, working for Kane and kind of being a bit of a con artist and a player. Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, overhears, and he pulls Victoria aside and tells her he is going to go to LA to win back Claire. He asks Victoria where Claire is staying. Kyle also warns Victoria that Holden is bad news. But Victoria isn't going to tell Kyle anything about where Claire is staying, and she doesn't think it's a good idea for him to go to California. Adam and Chelsea are stunned when they find out that the Kane and Colin story has blown up worldwide. Adam doubts that Kane is ever going to recover from the hit to his reputation that they have dealt him. Young and the Restless. Kane and Phyllis clash over vengeance AI plans. Kane, meanwhile, tells Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, they both need their public images rehabbed. Kane proposes that they try using his super-duper AI for good instead of evil. That whole thing rubs her the wrong way. Phyllis insists that they need to use the AI for vengeance on their enemies. Phyllis says that Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, was right, that Kane doesn't know what he's doing. He keeps changing his mind and direction. That is all accurate. Phyllis tries flirting the AI program out of Kane, and they nearly kiss. Getting that close to Phyllis freaks Kane out, and after she leaves, he calls trying to reach Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, but just gets voicemail. Young and the Restless. Kyle's desperate stalker pursuit of Claire. Kyle is playing tough. Maybe it's with Holden in LA or maybe it's with somebody in Genoa City, as he's trying to get the info about where Claire is staying so he can go stalk her. Jill Abbott, Jess Walton's big decisions affect her relationship with Billy. We'll see if it's better or worse. I'm going to guess it's not better. Jill is leaving Genoa City soon to get more heart treatment in London. But she may get together with Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, before she goes and give her that Abbott-com funding. Holden gets a blast from the past in LA when he runs into his old friend Sienna Bacall, Tamara Braun. She may be an ex-partner in crime, just an ex-friend, or maybe somebody who also dated him. The good news is Sienna is no fan of Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, who she mockingly calls Audrey. Young and the Restless. Noah's crash may be a targeted attack. Nick and Sharon are in for a shock. It looks like Noah's car crash was really bad, and it might not have actually been an accident. Claire is happily out at the bar having vespers with Holden. She's rocking a wilder, LA sort of smoky eye rocker look for this new stage in her life. But her plan to get away from the stress in Genoa City goes sideways. I suspect that's because Kyle is going to show up after he tracks Claire down, and he's just giving off desperate stalker vibes at this point. Victoria gets some comfort from Nate Hastings, Sean Dominic. Could be about Claire's dilemma with Kyle and Holden. She might be worried about Claire being out on her own in Los Angeles. She may be worried about the car crash that her nephew Noah was in. I'm just hoping that all this has sparks flying for Nate and Victoria. Young and the Restless. Nikki's AI mission and new character debuts. Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, takes matters into her own hands. I wonder if she is going to go personally confront Kane about that AI. I don't think she wants Kane to give it to Victor because I think she's figured out he is definitely going to use it against Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman. What Nikki doesn't know is that Jack wants it to use against Victor. Not surprising, and that's kind of Victor's fault. Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks, surprises Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes. It looks like Tessa is going to show up at the mental health facility in Boston where Mariah is getting inpatient treatment for the PTSD of Ian Ward, Ray Wise, and just what went on with that old dude she almost killed. But Mariah might be mad to see Tessa there. This may not be a happy reunion because she's told her to butt out and stay away. Nick and Sharon meet someone mysterious on Thursday. We are getting another new character on Thursday, Detective Burrow, played by the very handsome Matt Cohen. He makes his debut late this week. Fun fact, when he was over on General Hospital, he dated Haley Aaron's character, whose name was Kiki, who was then brutally murdered. Roger Howarth makes his Young and the Restless debut soon. He played Haley Aaron's GH character Kiki's dad until, in very soapy style, they found out that her mom lied and he wasn't really her dad. It's just kind of interesting that Haley Aaron has close ties to 2 of the 3 General Hospital people that are coming. I don't remember her ever having scenes with Tamara Braun over on General Hospital. I know they overlapped at some point, I'm pretty sure, but they weren't really like friends or anything that I can recall. Jack is trying to straighten things out with Billy. Nick goes looking for some answers, and I'm sure it's about Noah's crash. Audra gets an unpleasant reminder of the past. This may be about that sketchy thing that went on in Los Angeles with her and Tucker McCall, Trevor St. John, and Holden that has never been properly explained to us. Young and the Restless. Targeted hit and spiral warnings. Nick tries to figure out who targeted Noah. We're going to have more scenes with Detective Burrow, likely with both Nick and Sharon. This all seems to tie back to Noah's nightclub plans. Sienna and Holden's backstory unfolds for us. I'm also wondering if Sienna knows Tucker since she also knows Audra. Billy is still struggling as Jill leaves Genoa City, and I do not expect to have closure on Billy and Jill, or really Kane and Jill, other than she excuses and enables Kane. But Jack does keep trying to smooth things over. He's trying to keep Billy out of a spiral. Chelsea, Adam, and Victor are all feeling quite smug about trashing Kane in the public eye. But if they keep pushing him, he may start to listen to calm, nurturing strength about Sharon Newman. But in recent weeks, that steadiness had begun to crack. The weight of her past, the echoes of her trauma, and the burden of protecting her loved ones once again collided. And this time, it was enough to send shockwaves through Genoa City. But just when she thought life couldn't get more chaotic, 2 unfamiliar faces arrived in town, each with secrets capable of reshaping everything Sharon thought she knew. A whisper from the past. It began quietly, as it always did with Sharon. A few sleepless nights. A series of unsettling phone calls from an unknown number. She tried to brush it off, perhaps just a telemarketer or a glitch in her voicemail. But when she arrived at Crimson Lights one morning and found a single white lily resting on the counter, her mother's favorite flower, and a symbol of loss, panic flooded through her veins. Her hands trembled as she clutched the note attached. "You can't bury what you've done, Sharon. I'm coming." It wasn't signed, but the handwriting was familiar. Too familiar. Nick noticed her shaken expression when he dropped by later that morning. He gently took the note from her hands, his brow furrowing as he read it. "Sharon. Who would send this to you?" Her lips parted, but no words came. Only one name echoed in her mind. Someone she hadn't spoken about in years. "Cameron Kirsten," she whispered, her eyes glistening. "But that's impossible. He's gone." Nick's jaw tightened. He'd seen Sharon unravel before, but this was different. There was real terror in her eyes, the kind that only came when ghosts refused to stay buried. The first fresh face. Dr. Elise Rowan. The first newcomer arrived at precisely the wrong time, or the right time, depending on who you asked. Dr. Elise Rowan, a sharp and empathetic trauma specialist, joined Memorial Hospital just as Sharon's old anxieties began to flare. Tall, composed, and eerily perceptive, Elise had a quiet confidence that made people open up around her, except Sharon. They met by chance in the hospital cafeteria, where Sharon was delivering coffee to Faith. Elise immediately sensed the tension beneath Sharon's smile. "You're holding your breath," Elise said softly. "You should exhale." Sharon blinked, startled. "Excuse me. I can always tell when someone's pretending they're fine. It's kind of my job," Elise replied with a small smile. "I'm new here, Dr. Elise Rowan." That interaction should have been brief, but fate had other plans. Within a week, Sharon began receiving more messages, strange ones. Cryptic notes slipped under her door. A voicemail where a man's distorted voice said, "Did you miss me, Sharon?" When she confided in Elise after one particularly bad panic attack, The doctor's reaction was curious. Elise didn't seem surprised. In fact, she asked questions. Too many questions. And these messages, she said carefully, do they come at the same time each day? Do you ever feel watched? Something about Elise's tone unsettled Sharon, but she pushed the thought aside. Elise had been nothing but kind. Still, as Sharon left her office that evening, she could have sworn she saw Elise watching her from the hospital window, her expression unreadable. The second fresh face. Ryder Steele. Then came the second stranger. Ryder Steele, a charismatic private investigator with a reputation for digging up the truth, no matter how deep it's buried. Nick hired him discreetly after realizing Sharon's paranoia wasn't going away. Ryder had the kind of charm that could disarm anyone. Even Sharon, who wasn't easily impressed these days. His rugged demeanor, confident smile, and piercing green eyes reminded her of a younger Nick. But there was something else beneath the surface. A darkness, maybe, or a secret he wasn't ready to share. Their first conversation was short but electric. I don't need protection, Sharon said sharply when he showed up at her doorstep. Ryder smirked. Good. I'm not here to protect you, Ms. Newman. I'm here to find out who's making your life a living hell. He began digging immediately, retracing Sharon's steps, reviewing security footage from Crimson Lights, and examining every note. His investigation led to an alarming discovery. All the calls and messages were being rerouted through a private server registered under a false name. E. Rowan. When Ryder confronted Elise, she didn't deny it. I was trying to help Sharon confront her fears, she said coolly. Exposure therapy. Sometimes to heal trauma, you have to make the patient face it head-on. Nick exploded. You scared her half to death. Elise's calm expression never wavered. And yet she's still standing. Sometimes fear is the only way to wake up from denial. But Sharon wasn't convinced this was just therapy gone wrong. There was more to Elise. And now she wasn't sure who to trust. The panic peaks. As October nights grew colder, Sharon's anxiety turned into full-blown panic. She started seeing things, a figure in the shadows outside Crimson Lights, the scent of the cologne Cameron used to wear, flashes of old nightmares bleeding into reality. Ryder became her anchor, showing up whenever she needed someone. He'd sit at the coffee shop after hours, talking her through her fears, promising he'd get to the bottom of everything. Slowly, Sharon began to trust him. Maybe too much. One night, as they reviewed security footage together, Sharon noticed something chilling. Elise entering the coffee shop after hours, placing something on the counter, a white lily. That's her, Sharon whispered, her breath trembling. She's the one sending the messages. Ryder frowned, staring at the screen. But just as he was about to say something, his phone buzzed. He stepped outside to take the call, and that's when Sharon noticed his reflection in the glass door. In his hand, tucked between his fingers, was a small white petal. The final twist. The next morning, both Elise and Ryder vanished. Their apartments were empty. No forwarding address, no records, nothing. It was as if they had never existed. The police investigation turned up nothing but dead ends. But a few days later, a final envelope arrived for Sharon, delivered to Crimson Lights. Inside was a single photo of her, sitting at the coffee bar, Ryder and Elise in the background, both staring directly into the camera. On the back of the photo, a handwritten message read, "You can't trust anyone who wants to save you." Nick found her clutching the photo, tears streaming down her face. "Sharon, what does it mean?" "I don't know," she whispered. "But whoever they weren't here to help me. They were here to finish what someone else started." A new era of fear and mystery. Now, Genoa City buzzes with questions. Who were Elise and Ryder really working for? Were they connected to Cameron Kirsten's old network, or was something even darker at play?